Fella, look, man. Before Google includes your newly published web pages in its library of pages, it has to know they exist in the first place. Now, that takes about 24 to 48 hours, and that's the same amount of time it takes to categorize and file away for later a page you wish to rank for a specific keyword. Now, initially, your page may be ranked at 34 to 55, and that's okay. It's completely fine as long as it ranked. You have about 35 weeks to go before you see your page ranked as high as it deserves, okay? As high as it deserves. So don't get stuck into believing that once you publish, your content will be seen. Once it's ranked, it's up to you to make it rank higher, and it's about this I want to talk to you about today. This is what I find is the biggest mistake for SEO when a website is released, and it is to be of no help whatsoever, neither to Google nor to the first visitor of your website. In fact, if you simply commit to be of help since day one, you anticipate by far the biggest mistake I find personally 2 out of 3 newly released website maker. You see, since the moment your website is released, it's your duty to introduce your newly published web pages hierarchically in a certain order to the search engine for both SEO and user experience sake. Because remember, Google is a robot and doesn't have a human-like touch, so to speak, to understand your own way to order things, unless they make sense, of course. With that being said, it's now time for you to click that subscribe button and make Web Money School channel your channel, so you'll get suggested new videos next week soon as they come out. Now, once your first visitor, it is not only the search engine that doesn't quite understand what you're trying to tell it with your disordered way to order pages and information in your blog post. Your visitor won't too. Even though it's not a robot, your visitor, because by now every single one of us is accustomed to a certain way, a certain hierarchy to find things on a website, we almost act as robots, you know. We are pretty easy to anticipate because we're not so accustomed to certain things that once you don't find them, a user may act just as a robot. But that's not even all. In fact, I will add that being of help is not even all there is to it. It's not even all there is to it, fellas. In fact, you must understand, okay? You must understand that the second your new website made up of web pages and stuff to give internet users answers and hopes is launched, the game it's on. Mark my words, the game it's on. And to be up in the race, you must have your published schedule ready to be followed religiously from day one. You see, SEO is the art of optimize your web pages for search engines and user experience, and that's what search engines are looking for. Websites, that keep up with times and updates. Made up of helpful content that gives straight, unbiased answers and trustworthy hopes. This is what search engines are looking for. Now you may say, how can I, as soon as I release a new website, start uploading fresh content that's truly helpful and do that regularly on schedule when I'm just getting started? And the quick answer to that, because this is what I'm told by all my students. At Web Money School, we have a limited numbers of students, so they can get access not only to the content that we have at Web Money School, but they can access me personally on WhatsApp. I'm available for my students 24/7. It doesn't matter what time it is. I don't know how long I'm gonna do this. Maybe I will retire in 5 years. Who knows? But definitely, this is what I'm told. How can I'm just getting started. I'm not ready. I don't know how to do this. And the quick answer that I just say to my students, you just do, buddy. You just do. And obviously, I proceed with a skeleton template for them to kind of do this properly, and not just doing with no order whatsoever. Now, when you have no plan of action, you setting yourself for disaster. At 104 weeks, 104 weeks, that's 2 years, 24 months, won't cut it to turn your website into an stable income money machine, money making machine. You must at all costs avoid the path of the fools at all costs. Now, a fool release a new site, and as soon as that happens, get distracted by doing this, that, and the other. When all is needed is to one, publish pages and categories hierarchically with a certain order, and two, start following the first 30 days article to publish schedule of newly published website, following my stupid simple system that works a charm. It really does. I'm confident, right? I say this beautifully with confidence. I've turned idiots into genius. You know, my students don't get offended when I use the word idiot. Don't get offended, okay? Fella, just grow up. It's just what it is. I've turned idiots into genius, literally, okay? My students tell me that. You turn me into a genius. You make me feel like a genius. Because how can a person doesn't understand how the internet works and how a written format, stories work? Because when you're writing a blog post, when you're writing a blog, when you're starting a blog, you in your mind, you think that it's something that you can't see or whatever. A blog is a new word for a book, okay? This is how I see bloggers. And I turn literally people that have no idea whatsoever in 30 days to be total genius. They can write faster, they can create content, not just randomly, but with a purpose. Now, publish content that is helpful and that provide answers and hopes. Content that has what it takes to start making noise on search engines is blindly easy to my eyes, but I'd be making a fool out of you if I told you that it's blindly easy. It's not easy. Okay, it's not easy. By the way, by making noise, I mean, start ranking higher than the 30th mark, and while getting organically shared and mentioned, what we say getting backlinks. This is what I mean by making noise on the internet in your niche, and it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. However, I shall go as far as to claim this. The biggest blessing for SEO when a website is released is introducing no more than one page, just one page. Hence, the worst curse is to upload a lot of web pages. You don't know what you're doing, and you're presenting yourself as a clown to the search engine as opposed to a somebody. Now, if you know what you're doing straight from day one, obviously you're going to start uploading a few pages. But actually, at that point, the search engine is aware of what your website is about with just one page. This one page is going to be your introduction, and is and the title that you're going to use and the meta tag will help understand Google what your site is about, so that it can categorize it and file it away for later in its library of web pages, so that when you have more blog posts and you have more information, it makes way more sense to the algorithm. That must be happening not the day you get your domain and hosting, but the day straight after that. The race starts on Monday, so let Monday and hosting, getting your domain and your hosting day for the weekend. When on Monday you must install WordPress and launch your first, what is going to be your homepage displaying your latest post. The same Monday, of course, you must publish. You must. This is an order. When I talk to my students, this is not just a thing you can or you cannot. No, they have to. They have to. In fact, in the course, we use a method called drip feed stuff. Meaning, if you don't complete that step, you won't be given the second step. It's a must. You have to. You have to. So again, the same Monday, you must publish your first blog post and start the first 30 days article to publish schedule. And that's not a challenge. Once again, that's a duty. Once I used to be part of the massive McDonald's wonderful workforce at a restaurant situated on Oxford Street in London. This is a true story. Day one, I was trained. As soon as after that, I was assigned my rota, my schedule. And murder she wrote. Since then, my duty was to show up on time. Really had to be on time and do dressings, pickles, onions, whatever. and this is what I was supposed to do. I had to show up, I had to do my work, and I had to leave silently. Now I got laid off a few months after that because I have a big mouth. I have a huge big mouth. So when I see things that that don't make sense, I'm not gonna standing there just say nothing if I'm part of the team. If I'm not part of the team, I'm cool with it. But if I see something, things, I just speak out. That's just me. However, here again, what I find is the biggest mistake for SEO when a website is released is the lack of understanding that this is not a game or a thing online. This is a job. You're the owner, the manager, and the workforce all at the same time. At this point, it makes no sense to get distracted, by the perfect logo or whatever. All the distraction you happen to fall victim of. As soon as your site is up, you must show up to what really matter. And the hamburger, you gotta show up and you gotta do what really matters. The hamburger, the blog post, I'm talking. You are cooking for beggars initially. Keep that in mind. As long as it is meat, it will do. So you don't have to do this perfect hamburger. These are people hungry. They want answers. They want hopes. If you choose to put your restaurant in a location when there's not a lot of people and there are beggars that have those few dollars, you can get in business and you can start growing. Then you can clean up the area once you make money enough and build a real stable income generating machine. My system starts off with the first 30 days content to publish detects your first enemy, which is fear of creating content by the balls. As a spoiler, it basically based on the notion that clear things up, that Google is not a social network. We are introduced to the internet because to use a social network. That we tend to fall victim of the belief, if you will, or confusion. It's not belief; it's a confusion that a social network, that a search engine works like a social network. The first time I used the internet was for MSN. I don't know if you remember MSN. It was just a chat, to chat with girls. This is what I used the internet for. It was a kind of the initial step, the initial level of what is going, or what it would, would have been the social network century. This is not the case. Google is not Facebook. The moment you start publish the instant, right? The moment that you hit publish on Facebook, it's 35 weeks on Google. On Facebook, you hit publish. On a social network, you hit publish it, and your friends or your followers see the content immediately. So you believe or you confuse that when you have a website, you hit publish on WordPress, that it was going to happen. That people see that. Who is gonna see it? Straight off is Google. But Google takes 35 weeks to actually take into consideration what you wrote, what you published, to suggest it to others. Actually, it takes less because it ranks, as I said in the beginning, between 35 to 24 to 35 hours, 24 to 50 hours. But again, in those hours, your content is taken and is put into a file away into the library of web pages, into the libraries of answers of Google. But it's gonna take 35 weeks to actually see, as high as your blog post is going to actually show up. This is the biggest mistake I found a newly released website make. Is being of no help whatsoever, neither to Google nor to the user. You can now avoid all of that following this simple system. For more information, you can click the link in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. It was my pleasure. See you later. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be a genius if you just follow some few ideas that is gonna, believe you me, turn idiots into genius and to genius into so much better than a genius. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you right back in the next one. See ya.